When we approach misbehaviour, there are two things that we want to bring into it. One is our care and nurture, and the other one is the boundaries and limits. And what we find is that there are some people who approach misbehaviour in ways that aren't as helpful and others that are more helpful. And so if we think about what I would call the drill sergeant, the punishment giver, he has high control. He wants all the control, strong boundaries, but there's not a lot of care. And what we find in those situations is we have people who are the recipients of that probably doing what the drill sergeant asks, but having a lot of revenge mindsets or avoidance techniques, because all they want to do is avoid that because they don't feel valued, they don't feel cared for, and they feel a lot of shame because that's what's been put upon them. The second type is what we would call the negligent carer, which means that they have no boundaries and no limits, but also no care. And the difficulty when we ignore misbehaviour is that the people who are misbehaving will continue to do their own misbehaving and create their own rule set and make up their own rules, kind of like the Lord of the Flies movie or book that you've seen. The third approach is what we call the helicopter. And the helicopter comes in with loads of care and loads of nurture, but no boundaries. And so we call that a permissive approach. And when we do that, it does one of two things. It fosters that sense of entitlement of, well, I can do whatever I want because everyone will come and serve me. The other side of that is that it reinforces, I'm not good enough, I can't do anything, I'm a victim to my life. And what we find is when people have those experiences a lot, it becomes part of who they are. And so we want to avoid that as well. And a lot of helicopter, if you think about helicopter, rushing in, fixing the problem and then leaving again. So, if one of our students has forgotten their lunch, then we actually help them make it be their problem. We're not going to invite parents to come in and rescue them. And the fourth, which is my favourite, is the consultant, and that's the restorative approach. And so that's high levels of limit, so lots of boundaries, lots of clear expectations, but loads of care and nurture. We're not about shame and blame, we're about actually saying, wow, that was a really big problem. Now what are you going to do to fix it? So then it helps them feel empowered. They feel good when they fixed it. We want them to come back to class feeling good about themselves because that's actually going to help them learn. And the same at home. We want them to get through a problem feeling great about themselves so that they can come back and join in the game or join in at the meal table or whatever else is happening.